How's it going, everyone? We're coming up on a new month, and I want to highlight some of the free PlayStation Plus titles that I would recommend you to check out in the month of January. Now, want to get this video out, especially because right now, if you have not subscribed to PlayStation Plus Extra, you can get a one-year subscription of PS Plus Extra for $60. This is a ridiculously good deal. That works out to $5 a month, and given the bevy of games you have with your PS Plus Extra subscription, bear in mind you also get the monthly essential titles. This is just a ridiculous value if you're looking to catch up on some of the classic PlayStation games that have released over the course of the last few years and whatnot. Just a great deal. I mean, PS Plus Extra, even at its regular price, I think is quite good, but when you can save that kind of percentage on it, it just gets even better. Now, PS Plus Premium is also on sale. If you do want to get that, be my guest. Plus Premium doesn't offer a lot outside of game streaming. A couple classic titles here and there. Game trials if you do want to play those, but I don't know that many people that are super into, you know, playing those games for a couple hours and calling it a day. Nonetheless, I think Plus Extra is tremendous, but let's get right into it. Want to cover 8 games I would highly recommend you to check out. You could also watch last month's edition because those games are still available right now, and you can play those as well. But first of all, with your Plus Essential subscription, you will get Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order this month, along with a couple of other titles, Axiom Verge 2 and Fallout 76. Jedi Fallen Order is obviously the one that stuck out to me the most. This is just a fantastic game coming from someone that isn't a Star Wars fan at all and really got pushed into, you know, more Star Wars content because of this game. Jedi Fallen Order was just a high-quality action game that I really enjoyed. Gameplay was solid. I thought the main character in Cal was pretty likable, and BD1 is the GOAT, and, you know, it's just a really, really well-made game. There's a couple puzzles here and there that I wasn't a big fan of, especially that one puzzle in the beginning of the game. I was not a big fan of that one, but, nonetheless, overall, I think the game is really good, and obviously, it's super timely to play this game right now, given that Jedi Survivor is right around the corner. Jedi Survivor is dropping in March, so play through this game this month, and then you'll have, you know, February with 8 billion games coming out, and then over in March, you can be excited for Jedi Survivor, which is a direct sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, and definitely reason to be excited for that game as well. Fallen Order, by the way, plays really well on the PlayStation 5, so if you do want to play it on PS5, that is going to improve your experience quite a bit. Just a great game. It's been very, very cheap a lot of the time, so if you already own it, I mean, you probably have already played through it, and it is available with EA Play as well, but nonetheless, just a great game that I would strongly recommend you to check out this month. And again, that's available to download right now. Next up, the reality with PlayStation Plus Extra is games are going to come onto the service, and then sometimes games are going to leave the service. So you want to really keep an eye on the dates as far as what games are leaving the service and when. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the Definitive Edition, if that's a game you have any interest in with your Plus Extra subscription, you'll want to jump on that and play it in January. The offer to play this with PS Plus Extra is going to end on February the 21st. That is quickly approaching, and you have about a month and a half left to go check this game out. Obviously, this was a part of the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Collection, which a lot of people memed the hell out of. You know, it was rightfully memed on, given it was $60 for games that were legitimately available for like $3.74 on sale. But now you're talking about getting one of those games as a part of your subscription service, and I think that's fine. You're not paying a full $60 anymore, so that's acceptable. And again, with the game cycling out of the service, I think this is as good of a time as any to play it, given that, again, once it's gone for good. This isn't a case like Plus Essential where you retain the game as long as you keep your subscription. No, the game is available for the duration of the window that licensing agreement was signed for, and then once it leaves the service, that's it. You can't play it unless you buy the game, so yeah, bear that in mind when it comes to Plus Extra. Alright, next up, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. This is available through Plus Extra, and this is a game that, you know, at this point, it's about 15, 16 months old, but Guardians of the Galaxy was a game that I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed it. Again, I never watched the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, so this was my first foray in being introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and wow, their interactions I think are great. They became one of my more liked superhero characters. Now, obviously, I'm not all that well versed in Marvel nor DC, but really enjoyed Star-Lord. I loved his interactions with Rocket, and the whole cast is just really strong. There's comedy, but the story can also get pretty serious, so bear that in mind as well. Gameplay is solid. I know some people didn't like the gameplay as much, but I thought it was pretty cool. You know, you primarily play as Star-Lord, but you get to utilize the various abilities of the other heroes as well, and I thought the utilization of all that worked out pretty well, and narratively, game was strong. Soundtrack was really good. That full price of $60 is definitely way too much, but Plus Extra it's available for, and even when it does go on sale, it's still like north of 20. So the fact that it's in this subscription service, I think is really good, and it's a relatively lengthy game, you know, around 14 to 15 hours. So I think that's a pretty solid length, but it's not like it's gonna be too lengthy. You can probably beat it in a week or so. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Next up, this is one a lot of you guys probably played, but if you didn't, this is a first-party title, so it's not going to leave the service. We have Days Gone. Days Gone is a game that came out back in April of 2019, and it's a game that initially, when it came out, saw a pretty mixed reception. You know, the bar is pretty high when it comes to top-tier PlayStation exclusives, and Days Gone was a game with a AAA budget attached to it, but definitely saw a lesser reception than some of those other games that we got in, let's say, 2018 with God of War, Spider-Man. Days Gone was a bit of a fall-off from that, but a big issue with Days Gone that made people kind of push back on the game initially was from a technical standpoint. Performance, bugs, glitches, that is very much remedied with the PlayStation 5 version of the game. Is it perfect? Absolutely not from a technical standpoint, but it is so much better that it is worthwhile to go back and play through this game. If you played it initially, you didn't enjoy it for whatever reason, go back and try it again, because I think a lot of you guys will enjoy the PS5 version. Would I say it's among the upper echelon of PlayStation exclusives with the PS5 version? No, I wouldn't go that far, but is it a good game? It's a very good game. Maybe, I know the rhetoric has always been this is a game that, you know, could have shaved off a couple hours and that probably would have done the game better. Yeah, I agree with that, but overall, as a part of your extra subscription, this is a worthwhile game to go back and play. We're probably never gonna get a Days Gone 2. I know that there's petitions out there. I know the social media clamor is always gonna be there, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen. I think Bend is gonna move on to something else, but nonetheless, Days Gone is a worthwhile game to revisit. All right, next up, another Sony exclusive, at least initially, Detroit Become Human. This is available through Plus Extra. Typically, it's only $19.99, sees deep discounts, $9.99, but man, if you're a narrative-driven title, Quantic Dream puts out some pretty solid games. I enjoyed my time with Heavy Rain. Sure, Fahrenheit shows its age, but that was, at its time, a game that was really well received. Beyond Two Souls, not as crazy about, but Detroit Become Human is a really engrossing futuristic story about androids. A lot of twists and turns. You guys know what I always say about these narrative-driven games with a lot of decision-making. I highly recommend, whenever people play a Quantic Dream title especially, you go through the entirety of the game, no guide, no walkthrough, you just see what story unfolds for you. Then if you want to go back, play through the game again, and use a guide, by all means do that, but I think it's very much enjoyable, more so when you go into a narrative-based game like this with a lot of decision-making completely blind and just see how the story unfolds for you. Obviously, this is a game that if you want to bring over people that aren't super into gaming, they could just watch you play it and still have a really good time with it. So that's my 2 cents on that. Definitely a game that's worth a playthrough utilizing Plus Extra. Next up, a game that really got lost in the shuffle on PlayStation. Gotta give a shout to The Medium. This game is on Plus Extra, and unfortunately, it saw a delayed release on PlayStation 5. It saw a timed exclusive release on Xbox and PC, and when it eventually came out on PlayStation, it was $50, which was way overpriced, and it wasn't a part of PS Plus Extra. I mean, the Plus Extra didn't exist at that point. PS Now did, but it wasn't a part of it right out the gate, so a lot of people just skipped out on it, and I would say that's the right decision to make. However, if you're into psychological horror games with some interesting puzzles, I think The Medium is a worthwhile game to play through, as long as it's a part of a subscription service. I'm not saying drop $50 on it, but it's a very atmospheric game. Visually, it looks quite good. And again, a psychologically twisted game that I think people are really going to enjoy it from that standpoint. If you're into more psychological-based horror games, this is one to check out. And again, as a part of Plus Extra, it's definitely worthwhile to play through. Next up, we have A Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. Look, we got some games in here that are going to be a little bit more of an undertaking as far as content goes, but for the most part, you're talking shorter games outside of Days Gone. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is a relatively short game that I think if you want a game that you can beat in one sitting or play through over a weekend, this is a really good one. It's a well-made game with a very emotionally engrossing story, and I think that's what most people take away from it. You know, it does have some dated gameplay elements, but I think overall you can still enjoy the story and have a great time with it, and it's not like you're going to be invested into the game for 10 to 12 hours. No, the main story can be completed in like 3.5, so You go into it, complete it in one sitting, experience the story, and then you can move on to your next title. But this is a solid one that I always recommend people to play. Goes for $19.99. It'll go on sale for south of $5, but as a part of Plus Extra, why not just, you know, download it, play through it as sitting, and then move on. Lastly, a game that I always talk up, and a game that I constantly go back to, Dead Cells. Dead Cells, the fact it's in Plus Extra is very much a worthwhile playthrough. Now, there is some bonus content for Dead Cells that you're not going to get with playing it through Plus Extra. Obviously, you can buy that content standalone. There's a DLC bundle for $12, but nonetheless, the base game still offers you so much quality gameplay and content. I love the throwback visual style. That's something that's right up my alley, and I think there's a lot of detail that's put into it, a lot of attention to detail as far as that's concerned, and when you start playing the game, it comes across relatively simplistically, but then you realize playing it more and more as you unlock different abilities as you're going through your various runs that this game has quite a lot of depth to it, and it's always going to be something that you can go back to, find something new, and it becomes a very, very addictive experience. That's my experience with it that I've just constantly gone back to, and I've been playing it since it initially came out. I want to say, was it back in 2018? I want to say it was 2018, sometime in like the summer. But yeah, available in Plus Extra. This is one that, you know, if you download it and you start playing it, it might be one that you sink quite a lot of time into, but it's one that you can play for a while, drop it, play something else, and then at some point go back to it and then sink more time into it. It's a really good, you know, play for a couple days, play for even a day, and then move on, come back to it, and you'll end up still finding enjoyment out of it. And the gameplay is accessible enough where you can constantly just engage with it and have a good time. So Dead Cells definitely one I would say, hey, play through it with Plus Extra, and if you've yet to pick it up, you know, maybe check out the DLC at some point, wait for the game to go on sale, and maybe even buy it if that is something that interests you, especially if they end up putting the Dead Cells Road to the Sea bundle on sale. I think at that point it'll be a really solid pickup, but this is a game that still holds up in price point, so the fact that it is just available through Plus Extra, I think that is quite nice as well. But that is gonna do it for me. Again, we still don't have the January official Plus Extra update. Once that is unveiled, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But if you want to jump into some quality games right now with Jedi Fallen Order, Grand Theft Auto expiring, Guardians of the Galaxy I think is a worthwhile game to go through. Again, Days Gone, if you played it way back when and you haven't played it on PlayStation 5, I think that's a really good title to go through. On PS4, I just wouldn't play it. I would wait until you get a PS5, but nonetheless, a lot of good stuff available on Plus Extra. Definitely the standout tier as far as Plus goes. But that's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.